Hey then everyone, it's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. Welcome to my review of Hades on the Nintendo Switch, which was a stealthy little drop from Nintendo being announced in that Nintendo Direct Mini, along with Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We had no hesitation in buying both. We dropped £18 on this one and were super confident that Supergiant Games, the makers of some absolute gems like Bastion and Transistor, that this would be pretty good too. But just how good is it? And is it worth your hard-earned cash? Let's jump straight into the story. You are the prince of the Underworld, son of Hades, and you're trying to battle out of hell. The story is built into this roguelike so that each time you die, you are transported back to a hub of sorts where you'll get to meet new and interesting characters and converse with them.
Greetings, Father. My ransacking was a delight, thank you for asking. So I'll just be on my way again.
Be on your way indeed. What do I care? You shall never reach the surface. Go. See for yourself.
Each is voice acted, and I found this instantly engrossing. The Olympians that you meet each have your back. You'll meet Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, and many others in your quest to escape hell. Each that you will meet grant you special boons which will enhance your abilities too, which is a nice little bonus leading to thousands of differing character builds as you play through. I was not expecting such an engrossing story, so it was a nice little surprise. But the stars of the show here are very much the unique characters that you'll meet along the way. Now the gameplay again was a little bit of a surprise to me. All I can say here is wow. As soon as you pick up this, you'll instantly be hooked. The gameplay's fast, engrossing, fluid, and the controls are tight. It's one of the best hack and slash roguelites you're ever likely to play, as it kept me engaged with its various fluid gameplay mechanics. As you begin your run, you'll have the choice of either a melee weapon or ranged, or something in between. I like the ranged style personally, so the bow suited my playstyle, but each one you choose is super fun to play in its own way, and they feel different from each other, which is important. Play with a bow, for example, which was my favourite, and you can hold down Y for a focused one arrow attack, holding the button down longer, giving it that extra oomph. But of course, every time you do this, you open yourself up to an attack from the various enemies. A quick tap of A will unleash your special attack, a barrage of arrows in a semicircle to take out multiple enemies at once. Unleashing your blood crystal move, which is usually a ranged projectile, is an interesting concept in itself, in that once you use that crystal move, you can then pick up the crystals again, and you can then do that move again, or carry out that move. Then you have your dash combining all of these moves together, and you have a fluid, responsive and engaging set of moves that keep the gameplay very, very interesting indeed. You can unlock further weapons in the House of Hades, and of course you will then begin with your favoured, trying it out either in the House of Hades against Skelly, which I absolutely loved, which is kind of your training, or you can just then try it out on your next run. And then of course you're going to choose your favourite. For example, you may like the Trident, which gives you a mixture of melee and ranged combat, even giving you the ability to throw the Trident across the room and then pick it up again at the other side. The sword is your close combat weapon, very strong but leaves you vulnerable to certain enemies by having to get close. None of them in my opinion are completely perfect for every situation, but then again that's just the fun of it, because well, for the things that it is weak at, you're going to be compensating with, getting those perks from the gods. There are more weapons to unlock along the way, opening up differing styles for different styles of play, and each move, as I said, can be upgraded with a god perk or boon, and these are pretty random on each run. So who you come across really depends. For example, Athena will gain you the ability of Divine Dash, which deals further damage and deflection whilst dashing. Holy Shield, if you take damage, you'll be able to briefly deflect further damage. So it's stuff like this that just makes it even more compelling. Other gods will give you differing attack powers, and one of my favourites was definitely the lightning arrows, and as you get further along you'll be choosing which boons to equip your character with. Equip ones you don't like, and by the end of the level you'll have the option to remove ones you don't want, which is very handy. Dependent on your luck though, you'll also get the opportunity to equip rare, epic or heroic abilities, which are really nice when you come across them because they'll help you greatly in that run to get out of hell. Now as you progress through each room, there'll be different enemies types mixed together, from your stronger to your elites, which will require either precise shots or strikes to take them down, to your multiple smaller enemies which are really annoying, like killer crystals or floating skulls, which will require more of your special attack to take down the crowd, so your crowd attacks if you will. The balance does feel right. Whilst being challenging, it's never too easy. No one's going to complete this in one run, put it that way, and if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. You're going to need to work hard at this and you'll die a lot before you can reach the surface. For some, that feeling of starting again may not be for them, but the game has systems in place to constantly keep you interested, engaged and coming back for more. Now each run is also kept interesting in that you can choose a door to go through. Some have multiple doors, each granting differing incentives which are depicted with a picture on the door. For example, choose a room with a heart symbol and you'll be granted health if you defeat all of the enemies in that next room. If you choose a room with a key, you'll acquire that key. Keys are a type of currency which unlock weapons in the hub, or you can choose to use them for unlocking special permanent perks at the mirror. Now perks can then be bought with these purple crystals collected through your runs, and is another type of currency. There's quite a few currencies actually in this game. There's also coins which can be used within the run to buy those essential upgrades or health or some items which may help you. So there are boons within the run too, and then your permanent upgrades which will all require those differing currencies to either purchase or unlock. The hub is the place where you not only upgrade permanent stats, but it's the place where you expand the story, speaking to the characters each time you return, sleeping in your bed and then investigating at night for lots of little snippets, and even carrying out maintenance and building work to expand the hub and decorate it too. It's these little touches which break the game up from those constant runs, which could for some become a little repetitive after a while or tiresome. Again, a lot of thought has gone into keeping you, the player, engaged. The big mirror in your room, the mirror of the night, will allow you to increase permanent perks. You can also use the house contractor to build all sorts of stuff which also have functional purposes. Put an enchanted bowl in your room, for example, and you'll be able to see stats of how many escapes you've attempted and how many foes have been slain. There are many more great little things like this to keep you interested in upgrading everything there is to upgrade. Again, making the player feel like they're progressing. However, it is the feeling of story progression each time you get back to the hub which is so impressive. How each character you speak to will tell you that little bit more. It's like watching your favourite Netflix show, with each leaving you with a cliffhanger so that you have to do another run here so that you can get that next snippet of info. Enemies themselves consist of monsters that you can expect to find in the underworld of hell, with all sorts of monstrosities. And they've been quite imaginative here, each having their own set of moves. There are elites too, and normal enemies, which are of course easier to kill, and it is this constant change up that keeps you intrigued and interested. It's also thrilling action, and the game is kept super interesting, not just because the action feels so good, but because it feels like you are progressing each time you have a run and learn something new. Whether it's learning how to manage your character or how to defeat that boss you have died the last 3 times trying to defeat. The bosses remember the last time you came across them, and this is signified with them acknowledging you with certain dialogue. When the battle commences, you cannot stop to think for a minute, constantly having to move, keeping you on your toes and learning what each boss will ultimately deliver. They are pretty tough but thrilling to play against, and each design is cool and unique. You know you've been in for a battle when you've beaten one. It's even more tense knowing that if you do perish, you'll have that little bit of a journey to get to these guys again. Even with all the work that has gone into keeping the player engaged, there will be a certain element of gamers who will not appreciate having to start again, even though you'll be stronger each time on your next run. For me, I was able to look past it as I felt like I was continually progressing, and that's really important. But I'm guessing that for some, it may be a little bit of a deal breaker. And if that's the case, then I think roguelites are not going to be for you. However, I will say this is one of the best you'll ever play. Talking about audio, again, absolutely stellar job. The characters, as I said already, are voiced, not just some lazy add-on. I love how each character felt unique, sounded unique, and how they came across. You could tell that it was a real project of passion here, with each voice actor really putting everything into it. I love how the cool characters just want to help you on your way. The backing music, again, is absolutely fantastic. From the guitar riffs when coming across a boss to those nice mellow sounds when you're just walking around your home. I could not fault it. The sound effects are also great too, and everything is wonderfully realised and atmospheric. The sound that this game brings the whole thing to life. Visually, for me, it's on point in every way, from the detail of the backgrounds, the enemy designs, to the wonderful depiction of all the characters and how fluid the animations are. Again, bringing this whole world to life. The lighting and effects are also wonderful, and it's a culmination of Supergiant's style, which they've honed over the years on previous projects. Here it culminates in what I would call stunning, with the rich hand-painted environments, which are a joy to witness. Everything about this oozes style, and I know that you may want me to find fault, but even the performance was smooth, and I could not find any missed frames when I was really trying. Of course, it helps that this is running at a delightful 60 FPS, even when the action was intense with lots of enemies on screen. It's been optimized superbly well on the Switch and plays great in both handheld and in docked. Value wise, we paid $17.99 for this. It currently has 20% off worldwide. Is it worth it? Absolutely it is. It will take you a good while to get out of hell, multiple tries and countless hours of upgrading and toying with your perfect build until you fine tune what is best for you and what perks are worth picking up. I would not be surprised if many of you put in at least 20 hours plus on this. In terms of my verdict, before I get into that, if you are new here, please consider subscribing if you want more reviews like this one. It's one of those rare games for me where I could not find much fault other than to say that the genre is probably not really for everybody. Not everyone likes roguelikes. However, I sat back and enjoyed every intense second of it, which will continue long after this review. As a roguelike, I think it is possibly the best I've ever played. The combination of unearthing a little more story with each run, the fluidity of the thrilling gameplay along with so many options in the character build and upgrade system, is just a joy, and it has that one more go feeling where you just want more and more. Supergiant Games for me are one of those developers where you know something is special is going to happen when they release a new game. After playing this over and over and going over and over it in my head, I can only come to one conclusion. This is as close to perfection in this genre that you're ever going to get. And for that reason, I bestow this masterpiece a 10 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please drop a like on there. Would love to see you again, so consider subscribing if this is your first time here. And of course, every weekend we release bargain video on a Sunday letting you know the best discounted games that you can buy on the Nintendo Switch. And Jordan, with a wonderful episode of the physicals that are being released, he releases that every Monday along with that wonderful community spotlight. I'm going to put some other videos up here so you can take a look now, and we'll see you over there. Take care everybody.